getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike could have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah,
It's all about the entertainment,
so I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
coming down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros is going to
Haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome back to the Triple Bypass Sloth Racing 125 round 10 live from Texas Legacy. I'm James Parv. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Chris Hannigan here this evening for 125 laps of this amazing Texas Legacy Oval. And guys, it was round 9 at Watkins Glen. Let's have a quick look back and see what happened.
In the latest race in the Triple Bypass Gen 4 Series, drivers tackled the challenging Watkins Glen International track, completing 45 laps with 3 different leaders and 3 lead changes. Number 91, Chad Bear, a part-time driver and road course specialist, emerged as the dominant force of the race, starting from pole and leading for 43 laps, ultimately clinching the victory. He rocketed ahead on lap 1 and gave up the lead, only to pit. The track was slick, and these high horsepower stock cars were more than a handful. But Bear showcased his skill with that fastest lap time of 1:13.12. Car number 78, driven by Hen Barkham, displayed a strong performance, securing the 2nd position in the competitive field, while Sexy Waltrip, behind the wheel of car number 27, skillfully managed to secure the 3rd spot. Newcomer Ewan O'Leary and Brad Kress rounded out the top 5. With just 2 races remaining on the schedule, Sexy Waltrip holds a big lead over Jason Benson, who is being chased by Dustin Barton, who is just 1 point behind him. We hope you enjoyed this Triple Bypass Gen 4 Series recap. We'll see you next time.
And there you go, we are back. As you saw there as well, Ched Bear took the victory, Ben Harkham in 2nd and Carl Gretsch in 3rd place at Watkins Glen for round 9. We can bring you up the current score situation here this evening as well. We can tell you who is leading the championship at the moment. And as you can see, it is Carl Gretsch out in front on 228 points, with Jason Benson in 2nd on 221. Dustin Barton on 199 with Al Corey on 197. Sid Kishishian on 193. Met Parazzini on 181 with John Campbell in 7th for 179. Justin Bentley 162. Mark Herzog 150. And John Crutchley on 150 as well. Don't forget this evening's event. Evening's race, so amazing from Sid there, so much appreciated to him for doing that as well. We have just entered into qualifying. It is enough time now for me to bring in Chris into the booth. Chris, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Good evening, James. Hello, everybody. Hello, James. So yeah, good evening. This is a Texas Motor Speedway. This is one of the OG NASCAR tracks on iRacing, especially the Legacy version. It's so fun to be back in there and actually seeing this track in action, getting some love from the Triple Bypass Racing League. And yeah, I'm excited to be a part of the service tonight, be part of the race.
Yeah, 125 laps. We are a bit light on the grid. We've only got 12 drivers on track currently as well. You know, I'm not expecting anything major to happen here, Chris. I think we should get a fairly clean run. You know, we have heard on the grapevine that fuel will be 41 to 43 laps if it all runs green. One fast prepare 3 sets of tyres as well. You know, there shouldn't be a need for a caution, should there? Does Texas give us that?
Yeah, you know, with 11 cars in the field, if they get away clean and they kind of stretch out from each other, you know, probably not. But I think what you're going to keep an eye on is early in this run. I was just watching some of the cars in practice, James, and they I heard the setup was a little tight, but it looked like at the beginning of the run, maybe on some cold tires, it's actually got a little bit of oversteer, a little loose on entry, loose on exit. That's one of Texas's, driver characteristics that I remember from back when I ran Texas a long time ago. Like, especially coming off turn 2, the track, the banking just kind of drops away in almost an abrupt fashion, and that the car can just snap on exit, snap oversteer, turn off to the inside, hit the inside wall. So we'll keep an eye on that as the race starts, especially on these cold tires.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something they're going to have to be aware of. They don't want to be coming off that banking and sliding it down onto the inside there as well, because obviously, you know, what goes up must come down, and generally you don't want to be coming down into the middle of the track, especially if you're in that front pack. But the grid is set and ready to go. Here we can bring you up the grid, and it is Carl Gretsch out in front with Matt Perezzini in second, Justin Bentley third, Ben Harcombe fourth, Sid Kishishian in fifth, Dustin Barton sixth, Mark Herzog seventh, Al Corey eighth, John Campbell ninth, Matt Harmon in 10th, and then we've got John Crutchley in 11th with Jason Benson, if he is going to make it, in 12th place there. You know, it's an interesting thing here being at a legacy circuit that you don't always see run within leagues. They don't always go back to the old style kind of circuits. They run a lot of new ones. You know, Silverstone Legacy is another track that doesn't get used that often, but you definitely don't normally see it within an oval situation.
No, you know, I just looking at this shot you got right now. I mean, when's the last time you saw a concrete wall at a NASCAR track without a safer barrier on it? You know, it's just an OG track that I said, like, you know, and there's all these rumbles you hear about iRacing maybe not giving these tracks the same type of updates and love they give some of the newer tracks with the grip and the track surface and stuff. So I don't know if we're going to see any of that play a factor tonight. You did mention there's 3 tire sets, and then the fuel run runs about 40 laps, 45 laps. It's a 125 lap race, as you said. So if you did the math on that, that means about 2 stops if you run it all the way out, right? If there's an early yellow, maybe around lap 20, lap 30, get a fresh set of tires, save them for later. I don't know. With only 3 sets of tires, that's tough. So come in and get the splash of fuel. So we'll keep an eye. The yellows are going to play a big part of the strategy tonight. But yeah, Texas is one of these great mile-and-a-half tracks in NASCAR, classic track, and it's always produced great racing in any form.
Yeah, definitely, and I think with the situation as well, 40, 80, 120, they might, unless they can drag out some great fuel savings somewhere, of course, Chris, we are looking at, technically, if we go by the rules of the maths, then we're looking at a 3-stop race, but, you know, as we both of us really know, to be honest with you, Chris, sometimes the maths don't always work out. So, you know, we'll go with it as it is and put it down to a 3-stopper, but generally they might be able to pull that in depending on what Yellows does, of course. And I think that's going to be an interesting aspect, an interesting part of it, because obviously if we get 4 cautions, do you go in on all 4? You're not going to change tyres unless you forget, like me, and I have done this previously, forgot to hit the tyre off button, and I've been sat there cursing myself because I've been a bit of a lemon. You know, there's all these things to take into consideration, isn't there?
Yeah, you really want to start, kind of figure out your last pit stop and work backwards from there. So be the first guy to put on the, full tank of fuel, fresh tires. First one to pit, usually the best one at the end. So we'll keep an eye on it. But here we go. Looks like we're getting ready to go green already, James.
Yeah, we are. The lights on the pace car are off. We are expecting it to do some wonderful, magical 90-degree left turn into the pits, which moves at an angle that cannot be explained. But there you go. That is the wonderful world of the iRacing pace car. There he goes off to the left and then moves. And now we are going to be up and running and underway here at the Slough Racing 125 from Texas. Carl Gretsch, Matt Perezzini, Justin Bentley, Ben Harcombe, Sid Kishishian, and Mark Herzog is the only man to make a position gain over the first half part of this circuit. Everybody got away, and I think that's one of the things they've got to be looking at here, Chris, as well, that consistency to make sure they finish the race. 10 cars, we've got 11 cars. Jason Benson didn't make it, I don't believe, but we've got 11 cars on track here. There's some points for everybody. They've just got to try and keep it clean and finish as high as possible.
Yeah, Gretsch got a great start right there. Pulled away. Nice little battle here for second, third, and fourth. Texas, generally a one-lane racetrack. You're not going to see drivers running up high. You're going to see them kind of run that bottom line, especially with the sticky rubber on the cars, and they got all the grip in the world. As that car starts to tighten up mid-run, you're going to see the car start to slide up the track in the middle a little bit. Of course, the drivers that can control that the best will get the best tire wear throughout the run. And you'll see them have the speed at the end.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at the track map, we can see car number 12 coming out of the exit of 2 at the moment before he goes down the backstretch. So is Jason Benson. He is up and running. He is 2 laps down. So maybe there were some technical issues of him being able to join the server, and that's why he's running so far back. We talk about draft on an oval, and we talk about it in a consistent form that basically you're better off in a pack than you are off as a single car. And how important do you think the draft is going to be here at Texas? Do we think they need to be in a pack? Do we think you need to go in the pits in a 2-car train? You know, what's the situation with that? Because it plays different to every single circuit we seem to go to.
Yeah, it plays a big part of it here, too, as Ben Harkham makes a nice move there on Justin Bentley, gets P3. Nice move from Ben inside of turn 1. It's kind of a double-edged sword here, James. You get this, you want that draft down the straightaway, especially the front straightaway. You carry so much speed in the turn 1. But you really don't want a car directly in front of you in the corner because it takes the air off your nose. You lose a little bit of that downforce, a little bit of that front grip. So you want to balance that. So you'll probably see some of these drivers spread out kind of like they are now. Give a little bit of room in between just to get that little bit of extra grip. But yeah, it does play a factor for sure on the straightaways, kind of bringing in the guys. Now, look, Harkham's going to make a run for P2 here.
Yeah, Ben Harkham's just gone up the inside of Perezzini there. As you can see on the right-hand side, they're hitting up the plus side of 180 miles an hour down that back stretch there as well. We'll stay on board with Justin Bentley just for another sort of half laps to see what he's doing around this front stretch, of course. Not your traditional oval, is it here, Chris? You know, we can see it's kind of more of a D-shaped oval than an actual, I want to say egg-shaped oval, but if you ever watch ovals, you kind of get what I mean on that one. It's more of a kind of a D shape than the traditional oval that we get so used to.
Yeah, it's the double dogleg cookie cutter mile and a half are what we call them on the NASCAR side. They get that, turns 1 and 2, turns 3 and 4 typical, but then the front straightaway with that double dogleg. It's just been one of those characteristics of NASCAR tracks over the years. It looked like, looked like Bentley there was making a nice, just nice clean run around the bottom. I saw Perezzini there right in front of him get on the apron just a touch in turn 2, maybe just kind of grazed it with his left side's tires. That will greatly upset the balance of the car. You do not want to do that here. But I'm going to keep an eye on Harkham here. Harkham obviously kind of pushed the overdrive button there for a couple laps. He's making a run up toward Gretsch right now. But remember, these guys are running, they're going to burn these tires up the harder they run. So especially if you're not expecting a yellow, you want to stretch these tires out as long as you can go to get that full tank of fuel out of the car and maybe make this a 2-stop race. So conserve the tires, go after the lead. It's always that balance you got to strike. And Harkham looks like he's making a run for Gretsch here, though.
And that's the thing that really interests me about the tire deg as well, is depending on the surface of the track, is dependent on what you're looking at getting. And I think that's one of the things that people don't quite take into consideration when you're looking at a circuit. You don't sit back and go, okay, is it asphalt? Is it concrete? Is it this? Is it that? And that's the thing, isn't it? When you're looking at that kind of particulars as a driver, you've got to sit back and think, what surface am I going on? What surface am I going to look at? And how am I going to deal with it? We've got asphalt here in Texas on this part of the oval. And I think that's one of the things that plays a massive part. The surface itself, the temperature, how it's all going to work out. Because we're looking at 46 degrees centigrade track temperature here. Deck's going to play a part here, isn't it? It's got to.
Sure. And it's the weather, the clouds, the sun. I mean, look at the run Harkham's getting on Gretsch here. I mean, I think, I don't know if Gretsch is maybe doing a little fuel saving already, lifting at the end of the straightaways. Let's kind of watch where that gap closes up. Look at Harkham run the high line through 3 and 4. That's going to give him a massive run off the corner if he can keep the speed up. So he's got, by the time he gets down to turn 1 here, he should be all over the back of Gretsch. He might have got a little loose there to turn 4. I couldn't really tell. But, so Harkham making a run toward the front here. Look, there's so many games here you can play as a driver at this stage in the race. It's early. You kind of set into a rhythm here. Does Gretsch even want to put up a fight right now with Harkham? Do you let him go? I mean, Harkham consistently running. A little too high that time.
Yeah. He's going to struggle there. He's coming off the wall. He's loose. Within it is Harkham at the moment. Let's have a look and see. Are we setting steering straight, or have we hit the wall? Yeah, we're never really straight on an oval. You're obviously, got to...
Just keep an eye on his pace relative to everybody else. Might just kind of upset his rhythm there a little bit. Let's see if he can get the run back down. But yeah, you got a little too high there that time and kind of kissed the wall a little bit. But that's the risk you play. You kind of risk reward, run up there. You see now he's running high line with Bentley there. They're kind of running that middle lane of the track. Up front, though, Gretchen, Perzini, looks like they're still just running that bottom line all the way around as we start working lap number 13.
Yeah, then we got basically Kashishin with Al Corey further back here. Dustin Barton, Mark Herzog, and John Campbell. They're also playing this catch-up game. Matt Harmon has dropped back by about 1.5. Then we got John Crutchley has dropped back further back from them. But we're looking at this kind of window. At one point, Kashishin was kind of on his own, but he's just been joined by Corey now. Corey's caught up to the back of him and basically just gone under the inside. Hannah's gone through. Mark Herzog here is running at the same time with Dustin Barton. Barton's looking at making a move here as well, Chris. He's looking very quick at the moment. 15.41, 15.42 through over Sid. So, not a massive difference on times, but they are kind of closing in on each other, and I think this could be the way that the story goes of this race. Could just be back and forward. You find people to race on track. Mark Herzog, Dustin Barton, John Campbell have found each other, and they could just be swapping all the way through. Pit stops, they could go in together. They could, lots of other things could be happening. And then, of course, you got the front three of Gretsch, Perezzino, and Bentley and Harkham. So the front four, sorry. So that could also just constantly be switching backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. Is this going to be a race of who doesn't make that mistake, who doesn't hit the wall, who doesn't spin the car out, gets their pit stop spot on, gets their fuel right? When we say it like that, there's like a list of things that they've got to try and get right in a race like this.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, if you're a driver, I think you just want to try to make the tires last as long as you can, maybe start saving some fuel. This is definitely going to be a long run race. We've seen it already. We're 16 laps in, relatively clean, couple wall slaps, but I think that's typical. Get the car, find the rhythm, save the tires, try to find that pace that can bring a long run out of the car. But look how far the top four have pulled away from P5. Al Corey down there is already 3 seconds ahead of Corey. These top four, not looking super racy with each other, but definitely looking racy with just their overall pace of just pulling away from the field here. So I'm going to keep an eye on, just watch Corey's run. We're 17 laps into the run here, so we're about a third of the way into the run perhaps. So keep an eye on the pace of Corey maybe in the second or third phase of this run. See if he starts closing that gap with maybe some better tires perhaps. So we'll see.
Yeah, welcome in, Rhea. Thank you so much for joining me. I wasn't expecting you in. James, do you sleep? She has said. I do sleep, believe it or not. But I think my body's got so used to doing barely 5 to 6 hours a kip. That's about as much as it does. And then I find miraculously I just wake up. So, hey, look, the nature of my business that I do here at JPB and the fact that it is my full-time job, sleeping, sleeping's for the week. It'll be all right. So there you go, Rhea. But thank you so much for joining us. We have got this front three. They have joined the packs up together as well. We've still got Ben Harkham not far back here as well.
Perezzini looking kind of racy right here, James. Look at this race for the lead.
Isn't he? I think he's just about to go underneath of Gretsch there, and he does currently as well, but that just goes to show how easy the lead has swapped places with Ben Harkham making moves early on. Justin Bentley staying in that third position. He hasn't really gone any advancements forward here, Chris. So I think this could be an interesting battle between these front four.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Harkham got damaged from that wall contact earlier, but he's definitely settled into that P4 role right now. Not sure, again, we could keep it, is this Gretsch's tires maybe starting to fall off and dropping him back, or is he starting to maybe save a little bit more fuel, try to stretch this run out? Perezzini obviously working his way up to the front here. He's already pulled out a decent gap, to be fair, too, in just one lap. But we're not really seeing the gap between Justin Bentley and P3 close on Gretsch as quickly as it looked like it was going to be when that pass happened. But I don't think Gretsch put up too big of a fight right there. Definitely just gave him the inside line, kept his pace up around the outside. These guys look like they're definitely thinking for the long run here and just trying to keep the car pointed in the right direction, off the wall, save the tires, and all those other things you mentioned earlier that you have to do to get to the end.
There's loads of things they've got to try and compensate here.
Yeah. And it's hard, too, because at this, remember, there's no crew chief, right? You are the driver, you are the crew chief, you are the strategist, everything, while you're driving the car. So you can imagine a lot of these drivers at this stage going into their black boxes in iRacing, maybe, okay, looking at their fuel, how much do I have left, how the tires doing, what do I want to do, and thinking about all that while they're driving the car. And it's a challenge, man, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it is. And then when you speak to drivers, all of a sudden you see them appear in YouTube chat and you're like, okay, so you're driving, you're typing, how are you doing all of this sort of stuff? I could barely speak to anyone while I'm driving, let alone think I'm going to go and type in YouTube chat at the same time here. But there is, I don't know how they do it. I've got to be honest here as well. Set up on the car, right? What would you be looking at doing with your setup? Would you be looking at running it short gain, hoping there's a yellow? Would you be looking at a long run, thinking, okay, it's got to settle in after so many laps? What would you be doing with your own car there, Chris, if you were in here?
Oh man, it depends on the nature of the league. If you think it's going to be long runs, then yeah, you definitely set up for the long runs. Maybe put a little more oversteer in the beginning, when we used to run ovals way back in the day, we try to set the car up to be as loose as possible, and that because the more loose the car is, the more oversteer you have, the less tires it takes to turn the car, because naturally the chassis wants to rotate for you. So you'd set it up just as much as possible to be loose, just to the point you can barely hang on to it. Speaking of barely hanging on, it looks like Bentley's barely hanging on to P3 here, going through 3 and 4. Harcum looking a little racy now. He's going to go up the inside out of turn 4. They're going to go side by side down the front straightaway here. It's going to be Ben Harcum and Justin Bentley into turn 1. Harcum on the inside. Is he going to take the position? Yeah, it looks like Bentley's going to drop in behind. Again, nothing too aggressive from either one of these drivers. Lots of room given in between. Everybody's trying to find that rhythm, find that pace. But yeah, back to your point. I mean, for a longer run, the car will typically tighten up as the tires wear, right? So you want to put that extra oversteer in there. Some cars have in-car adjustments these days. They didn't have them back when I was running the oval cars, but I think you can do some different adjustments in the car to kind of do different things, brake bias adjustments, things. And sometimes, at this track, we used to use brakes back in the day. I don't know if they're dragging the brakes or just lifting into the corners now, but that would play a big part of it as well. The little forward balance on there, kind of get a little more front bite on there. So it's there's a lot to think about and a lot to manage as a driver, and that's where the brain gets worked, is managing things. Not so much driving the car, but managing all the other things that go along here.
Yeah, and as Rhea said in YouTube there, and having to change your strat on the fly, that's a lot. There is a lot, and I think people just see ovals as you're going left. I know, obviously, Europeans, that's what they're looking at, just left, 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 left. But you can see the amount of things that we've run through on the list of what they've got to do here, and I think that gives a different perspective. As you can
Looks
see,
like Bentley just took back P3. Sorry, Jay-Z, didn't mean to cut you off. I think Harcum just dropped back to P4 right there.
Yeah, I think that's swapping backwards and forwards. It depends on the line from Harcum, doesn't it? He goes up very high, and Bentley seems to slip underneath. But then there's a corner, round turn 3 and 4, where Bentley and Harcum will go underneath, and Bentley will come up high. So I think depending on what that situation is. But as you say, fuel saving, tyre saving, anything could be happening within that car at this moment in time.
That's it. And look at the lead that Perezzuni's pulled out on Gretsch here. That was, 2 or 3 car lengths a few laps ago. Look at Harcum running that high line again.
Oh.
And a little bit of a wall kiss right there. Gotta be careful with that. So I'm gonna watch his wheel for a second. If we can stay on board, let's just see how much wheel he's cranking into the car here.
No, he's back again.
There it is. It must have dropped for a second, but yeah, it looks pretty clean. I mean, it's a little bit of oversteer on the exit right there. That's what you're fighting. But let's see, going into turn 3 here, a little bit of turn in, let the car drift down. He's run that high lane. A lot more steering in 3 and 4. You see that to keep it off the wall there. That's going to scrub the tires a little bit of oversteer on exit. Not as bad. Turn 2 at Texas is just notorious for being so slippery. Just because of the way the banking falls away, like we were saying earlier. So let's watch it one more time, and then I'll quit being director on your stream here. So he's gonna come out. Let's watch if it comes around just a little bit. But yeah, turn 2 here is just it is sketchy.
Yeah, definitely is here as well. Kashishin still chasing down Corey. Then we got Matt Hartman further back. He's trying to get onto the back of John Crutchley at the moment. Crutchley's about half a second up the road. There is the number 48 of Crutchley, and Matt Hartman is trying to get onto the back of him. We've got Dustin Barton, who's running a very solo race at the moment, 4 seconds behind, and he's got 1.5 in front. And then John Campbell is obviously the 1.5 behind, 2.7 in front. Herzog as well is another man, 2.7, 1.8, and then of course we've got Kashishin and Corey. What do we think in regards to the fact of this draft scenario, right? Are we looking at running a pack, or are we looking at you can run this track solo? I know it varies from track to track, so let's hear it, Chris. What are we doing? Are we running solo, or are we running in a pack if we can?
Oh, I like to run solo all day long. It's you because then you are in control of your car. You know, back when I'm gonna keep doing these old back in my day stories, but no, it was
back in the day.
The cars were so oversteered that we actually liked being in packs at the beginning of the run because it would take the downforce off the front of the car.
Yeah.
You know, so it would naturally tighten the car up being in a pack, and then as you spread out through the run, it would balance itself out. So but the problem was if you got by yourself at the beginning of a run, it was so oversteered, it was sketchy. But you know, looking at lap times here, James, his last lap time for the leader was a 31.8. His best lap time was a 30.0. That is a second and a half slower. And we're about 10 laps away, I think, from pit stops. If you were to divide this race into 3 segments, we're 10 laps away from the first pit stop here. So yeah, I think we're about to see. I don't know what we're about to see, to be honest. I think we're about to see something happen. I think we're about to see a lot. Maybe these cars get fresh tires. Who's going to make it to pit road under green flag conditions is a tricky pit entry. Who can make that transition cleanly, get back out, get the fresh rubber, keep the car on the track, and keep going.
Yeah, because they've got to drop off turn 3 here as well, as we see Kashishin and the 45 of Corey in front of us. We'll see that. Oh, Corey's going to come across there. The entry to the pit lane there, just on the left-hand side, guys, as well. You see they've got to come right off that line, drop off that high side of the banking, and then come down onto the flat and get these cars stopped, of course, which is no mean feat here. As you can see, Kashishin's going to try and run that middle line, drifting out high. Corey comes along. Kashishin hits the wall, gives it about a bit of a slap. Corey was hitting the wall as well there. Chris Sparks flying off that rear end of Corey. So, you know, Corey and Kashishin both tapping the wall there, and I'm wondering if we've just witnessed Harkham also in front of us kissing the wall there as well. And it looks like Harkham,
he's got some damage.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit now. Look, we go back on board, and with your steering inputs, of course, here, Chris. You know, I know
he's got a lot more. He's got a lot more wheel in it going in the corner. I think the tires are definitely wearing down. Yeah, coming out of the corner right there, you see the car that was loose coming out 5 laps ago. Now it's switched to a tight condition. Line plays a big part of that, to be fair. And he's fighting a tight car. Those tires are all but gone. But you got to stretch it 6 more laps there, Ben. You got to get to the pit stop window so you can get your fuel. He's dropping back quickly now.
Yeah, he's struggling really bad. It's Ben Harkham.
Here's something to think about too, James. If the yellow comes out right now, you can't make it on one more stop. If the fuel window is 40 to 42 laps, you're going to have to pit 2 more times and do massive save. Look at the understeer. Wow. Yeah, Harkham's really struggling on these tires now, but you want to stretch this out, 5, 6 more laps. You got to get there, or you got to make an extra pit stop at the end. So.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to get there. I've got to be honest. It's a bit of a struggle. He's coming up high. He's tapping off walls. He's making definite use of this legacy circuit. He's kind of seeing all of it here as well. He's just dropped 3 positions with Corey, Kashishin and Herzog going past him. Don't forget, he was on the back of Bentley at one point, and now from him to Bentley, you're looking at near enough over 7.5 seconds that he's lost
he's
already.
Struggling.
Yeah,
let's keep an eye on John Campbell here for a minute here, James, because John pitted a few laps ago. He's got fresh tires on. He's running 30.3s right now. He is flying around this track about 2 seconds faster than the leaders are right now on those fresh tires. Now, he doesn't have the fuel to do 1 more stop, though, so he's going to have to do 2 stops to get to the end. But just watch the pace difference here John has going past, I think that's Jason in front of him, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just look at the speed difference going into the corner. It's so much faster. So Leader should be coming in here in about 3 laps. If I put my Larry McReynolds hat on correctly here, in about 3 laps, they'll be making the pit stop. That'll get them to the end with one more stop. If no yellows come out, if yellows come out, you throw the notebook out the window and you try to figure it out on the fly. But at this stage, I think it looks like Perezzini's got a great, he's still holding that lead over Gretsch. Gretsch has pulled away a little bit from Bentley up front, and then everybody behind that's kind of dropping back about 6 seconds or so. So now pitting in a group is a challenge too. So as close as Al is, Alan. Sorry, that's Alan Sid right there. Yeah. Apologies. Yeah. So as close as they are to each other right there. Oh, he's slowing down? Is he coming in? No, he's got a little bit of understeer in the middle of the corner. You see how they check up on each other right there? So the speed difference is crazy, especially with these tire differences here.
Yeah, Mark Herzog in the middle there. I think Ria's just made a point in the chat and said at this point he might lose less time taking the 2 stops. Now that probably for Ben Harcum's point of view, he's just lost another place to Dustin Barton. He's got Crutchley closing him down quite rapidly here. Would that be an option for Harcum, do we think? Do we think that, he's just done it again? He's struggling. He's chastaining the wall here all the way round. And at the end of the day, he's dropped.
Here he comes. Right on cue. 3 laps, he's in. Yeah, the problem with the early pit stop, though, is you've only got 3 tire sets, so you don't gain an extra tire set by making a 3rd pit stop. You start with 1, you got 2 more to put on. So here we go. Our leader's coming in this time as well. Let's see. They're gonna stay out for now. Look at Gretsch close up on the leader, though. Gretsch and Perezzini here are nose to tail. They were spread out about 5-6 car lengths 3 laps ago. So maybe Perezzini's slowing down a little bit, trying to stretch the run out, or tires are wearing down. But these two being this close together coming into the pits might be something to watch. Look at the move up the inside from Gretsch here to turn 3.
Yeah, he's just gone and taken that low line run underneath him. There was a gap difference on their last laps, of course, as well. 32.26 for Perezzini, 32.08. So Gretsch did pull in nearly 2 tenths on him over that last lap alone, and maybe Gretsch has done the better idea of holding on to his tyres. Corey's now gone in as well. Benson's just gone through. Kashishian is in lap 44. We did say 41 to 43, so they've gone a little bit longer if you're above that 43 here. But this is the thing, green flag pit stops, not something you want to be doing, but when you're running green for this long, it's something that you kind of have to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to at this point. You're going to have to. I mean, if the predictions we were told were true, these guys are running on fumes right now. They're going to have to dive into the pits as soon as possible. But they're definitely in the window. The pit stop window has been open at this point. Justin Bentley is in. Let's see if Gretsch or Perezzini are going to come into the pits this time by. If I was the crew chief, I'd definitely be waving them in right now. But let's see. So we're following Gretsch. Here he comes through turns 3 and 4. So he's going to slow down just a little bit as he's running that high line. Looks like he's staying out. No. What about P2? Is he going to stay out as well?
No,
Perezzini's in. Yeah. He's in. So he's going to get the undercut here. That might be a good strategy. So I would expect him to maybe take the lead by taking the early pit stop just because of the. He missed the cone.
He
missed the first one though. Yeah. That may be a black flag. I got to remind myself the oval rules, but he missed the first cone right there. Late dive. We talked about how tricky that entry was there, James, coming off turn 4. It's tough.
Yeah, definitely. They've just got to drop off 4 and then go directly to the left. And it's always a tough one. It's trying to get these cars stopped as well. When you're coming off something banked, trying to get them stopped is a different scenario altogether. Gretsch is now in, so that's going to free up Dustin Barton unless Gretsch can get in and out beforehand here as well. But I don't think he's going to be able to. Gretsch, of course, going on to a pit stop. Yeah, Barton's going to always in. So that's going to leave Matt.
Yeah, everybody's in at this point. I think Matt Harmon's the only driver that has not come in at this point. I would expect Perezzini here to take the lead after this pit stop, just from having that fresh set of tires 1 lap early. Let's keep an eye on that if we can, because when Gretsch re-enters the track, as he's coming out of the pits right now, where is he relative to Perezzini here? So there's Gretsch coming out.
Perezzini's just...
He's going to go by on the outside. Oh, he's got him. Easily going to get him through turns 1 and 2 here. Let's see. Keep an eye on that there. There's going to be Gretsch blending on the backstretch. Where's Perezzini? He's going to come down there. They're going to be pretty close going into... Oh, he got into the wall. No.
Yeah.
No, not that early.
Yeah, he hit the wall. I think Gretsch did stay ahead. He did. Carl Gretsch did manage to stay ahead. Bentley slipped in past Perezzini as well. Perezzini tapped the wall and unfortunately didn't quite get that gain there, Chris, that we kind of thought realistically he would get, and he didn't get it because one simple mistake, and that's where you end up. Now, John Campbell, we talked about him earlier on. He took an early pit stop on lap 43. He's now sitting in second place here. Currently at the moment, don't get me wrong, he's got Gretsch literally half a second. Well, there he is. There. So Gretsch is obviously going to be looking at retaking that second place. But Campbell himself has put himself in quite a strong position after that early stop.
Strong position for now. I think once he hits that into that fuel run, he's going to be back, back shuffle where, in the back of the grid there. But, if the yellow comes out right now, he's in a great spot, right? Because he's there. He's cycled through to the front. But if it stays green flag, I'm going to expect him to slowly get swallowed up here by the likes of Bentley and Perezzini and these drivers as they come through. So yeah, interesting strategy for Campbell though. He pitted early. It may have been an incident that forced him to pit. I'm not sure. I missed it. But if a yellow comes out soon, he may be able to stretch this out and fuel save under yellow and salvage the run. So worth keeping an eye on here as we work lap number 50 of 125. It's going by quick, James.
Yeah, the green flag runs are basically barely 30 seconds a lap as well, so they have been flying by. Campbell's just lost a place to Bentley. We've got Perezzini coming up right behind him as well, with Harkham 3 seconds back from that. Corey and Kashishian haven't left each other alone for the first half of this race, and then probably not going to leave each other alone for the rest of it either, as these two are back once more. Corey and Sid Kashishian here are back at it again. So it seems to me that it's quite interesting for me because we watch certain oval races and there's always drivers that kind of magnetize together, and Kashishian and Corey are them drivers at this moment in time at this stage of the race.
That's it. They're running, very close to each other. Nice clean overtake through 1 and 2 right there for Kashishian. And you're working through 3 and 4. Let's see if they hold stations here, try to burn a few more laps. Got to get to about lap, 82, 83 to get that last run in there. So got a few laps to get there. But look at Kyle Gretsch up front. He is just banging out laps. Just turned a 29.8. New fastest lap of the whole race. So he has put the afterburners on that Napa flavored car that he has there. So he's looking at a championship leader, looks in a very strong position tonight.
Yeah, it definitely does. Bentley and Perezzini are behind him as well. Don't forget, guys, tonight's event is sponsored by Sid Kashishian as well, who is today's race sponsor. So a big shout out to Sid there for sponsoring today's race of the Slough Racing 125. Lap 53 here, and Carl Gretsch is out in front by 3.5 seconds with Justin Bentley and Matt Perezzini behind them as well. Perezzini's not too far back from Bentley at the moment. Campbell 2 seconds further back from that. 1 second Ben Harkham, but he is closing. And this is the thing with Benny, a great first run pace, right? We saw him, and then he just had that almost massive wall drop-off of tyres, and maybe a little bit of damage considering he did do a nice little wall tap there, and he's doing it again here as well. Is that just too much speed going in? Is he not lifting enough? Is he not braking enough? Chris, there's a lot going on for Ben Harkham at the moment, and one of them is just
struggling.
Just not staying away from the wall.
He's trying to make that high line work in 3 and 4. It's been fighting him pretty hard there. So I don't know. Maybe he likes running the high line 3 and 4, but if you send it off into the corner, you don't get your angles right and your speed right, it will slide right up into that wall. Of course, every time you slide up to the wall, you're sliding those tires through as well. Yeah, that's a good run there. That's how you want to do it. Bring it in just like that. Get on the power early. Drive it out of the corner. Carry the speed down the front straightaway. That's the way you want to do it, Ben. Keep doing it like that, brother. Yeah,
it will. He's just coming up to go past Campbell, who we did say took an early stop on 33. He's now dropped down into 5th as the Australian. We've got a mainly American-dominated field with 2 Canadians and John Campbell, the Australian, as well. But for Harkham, he's got to get onto the back if he can, or try and make some difference there. Maybe might help him joining onto the back of Benson and running him that way to try and get onto the back of Perezzini and Bentley, who are, about 5.6 seconds up the road at the moment. But the wall drop off of Harcum's tyres was just incredible. He's just 1 minute he had grip, next minute he had none, and he was just like Bambi on ice.
Yeah, it happens quick. When it goes, it goes. And I'm just keeping an eye on the inputs again. And it just, the car seems, this is a good point. It looks like in the setup of the car, the car's looking relatively stable in all four corners of the track. The tires seem like they're in their sweet spot right now. I'm watching the gap between Perezzuni in 3 and Bentley in P2. Perezzuni looks like he's closing the gap. I see him out the windshield here off Harcum's car. Look at the gap here for P2. Looks like we might have a little race in our hands as Perezzuni's running that low lane, trying to get that run back up to the front.
Yeah, he's going to get hold of Bentley here as well. As you say, he got a great run out the exit of 4. Is he going to be able to get him on the entry into 1? Is Perezzuni going to duck down and look at taking that deep inside line with Bentley in the front of him there as well? Justin Bentley in the 16 blue and white. Perezzuni in the 24 red here as well. And looks like Perezzini's going to get him here, Chris. He's just taken that lower line once more, and he's going to make up into second place at the moment. Carl Gretsch, 2.7 seconds up the road.
Doesn't look as easy as it did the first time around, though. I think Bentley was racing a little bit harder that time. Didn't want to race him too hard, but definitely a little bit harder than they did the first time around. We saw how easy the overtakes were in that first stint, but I think this time drivers are starting to kind of, bring their elbows up on the wheel a little bit more and fight, because they know that this race may go green all the way, and if it does, you're fighting for every position now and throughout the rest of the race. So I love these camera angles. Those are great. But yeah, the car's flying through. Looks like, Perezzuni's going to set his sights on Gretsch now, but Gretsch 2.7 seconds down the road. That's pretty far here at Texas.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've got Crutchley, Benson, Harmon and Herzog are all a lap down. They are all still running with Mark Herzog on the back here, pitted on lap 45. Would have thought he would have made a little bit more gains than what he has currently at the moment, but he obviously, as we know, he was sitting up in 4th place, I think, at one point. So Mark Herzog has had a bit of a dodgy start to the second period of this race, and we talk about it in stages. We talk about stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, Chris, here as well, because that's really how you want to kind of split this race up, isn't it? You got 125 laps at 40 to 44. We just touched on 45. Gretsch at 46 there. So you kind of need to split it up into almost a third each distance, don't you? Because you want to get it right.
You do.
You don't want to be dropping.
And we were talking about that at the top of the show. I mean, if you expect yellow flags, then all that's out the window. But when you think this thing may go green all the way, which is what we were saying at the top, just because there's 12 drivers here, it's a big track, they can tend to get spread out. You got to look at it. Like I said, what's the last time you got to pit and work backwards from there. And here we are. I mean, with no yellows, we're halfway through the race at this point. I think we just hit halfway last lap there.
Yeah. But
Perezzuni looks like he's slowly running down the leader here. What's that doing to his tires? I don't know. Is Gretsch saving his tires? I don't know. I mean, we saw at the end how much different the pace was in the last 5 or 6 laps in the first stint here. But you see at this halfway in the race, the gaps are present. We know who's got the pace. Gretsch out front's definitely got the pace. He probably played a little bit into a factor with Perezzuni getting in the wall after that first pit stop. Lost a few seconds there. But, Gretsch was one of the last ones to pit, too. So he's got the fresher tires of everybody. I'll tell you who's in a good spot right now, though, is Campbell, because he had that early pit stop. If a yellow comes out now, then he's equalized, right? Because everybody will put on tires, definitely. And if he gets resynced with the rest of the field, he's gained 2 positions from the start of the race. It looks like Sid Kasheshin just got past Harcum right there.
Yeah,
I saw the timer flip over there.
Yeah, Harcum seems to be having a trouble down in the right hand side. You can see the laps that they pitted on: 46, 45, 44, 43, 41, 42, and Campbell down on 33, of course. But Ben Harcum, it's really bizarre because he does look like he has got pace, but he just, I don't know, it's almost like he's got magnets on the wall and he just seems to be tapping it, and he gets the entrance into 3 wrong, he gets the exit out of 4 wrong, the run into 1 and 2. The first sign of insanity is he's just been passed by Corey there. if you're doing something over and over again and you're getting the same result over and over again, change what you're doing, don't get me wrong, when you talk about the light bulb with Charles Eddersford, and Eddersford was like, no, I didn't do 49 things wrong, I found one that was right. But Ben Harcombe isn't finding the one that's right, is he, at the moment? He just seems to be losing more than he's gaining.
It could be, driver preferences goes a big way. If he likes running the high line, then run the high line. That's fine. But I think it's something else to consider with the high line. It tends to be a little better for the big oversteer right there. Wow, it tends to be a little better for the tires too, because you're not turning the wheel as much. You know what I mean? From a low lane to a high lane. So maybe that plays a little bit into it. I don't know, but he's running his race. He's doing what he wants to do, and we'll see. I can't judge him till the end of the race, see how it worked out for him. So we'll keep an eye on it.
See how he ends up and see where he finishes there. When we talk about high lines, low lines, saving tyres, just drop an explanation to us, Chris, on that one, because obviously people might be watching it for the first time or watching it back for the first time, so they're not going to quite get what we're talking about. Low line, they generally sit at home and think, well, it's the shortest distance around the track, isn't it? You don't have to worry about it. High line, you've got to turn more and all this. Just explain it briefly for us.
Sure. Well, oval racing's all about momentum, right? It's not like road course racing is all about the quickest, shortest line around the track, but oval racing is all about momentum, and sometimes it's faster to carry more momentum around the outside of the track than slow down for the inside of the track. And when that happens, your lap times are all we'll call it, right? And overtakes on ovals are typically going into corners or at the end of straightaways. So if you can carry the speed down the straightaway, well, it's harder for someone to overtake you coming in, and it's easier to overtake someone at the end of the straightaway because you have more speed. So high lines generally work out good. They could be better for the tires. It's very track specific, very setup specific, and honestly very driver specific as well. If a driver likes driving that style of a race. The other thing to consider with a high line is if you have an accident, you don't hit the wall as hard as you're right next to it, so you don't hit it very hard. Or if you have an accident from the bottom, you typically slide all the way to the top and slam it. So there's a little bit of a safety cushion running the high line. Yeah, you may touch a little bit of it, but it's not crazy. But yeah, your tires will, the more heat you put through your tires, the more they will wear, and the more they will wear, the less grip they will have. So it's managing the heat of the tires. You do that by not sliding them as much and not turning the wheel as much. So that's where the rotation of the chassis comes into play we talked about earlier. So the more you can get the car to rotate for you, the less you have to turn the wheel, therefore the less heat goes into the tires, and it just keeps going from there. But it's fascinating, just all the different physics and geometry things we can talk about with a race like this, especially with a race that's been as clean as this one has, and the different lines that we've seen from all these drivers. As it looks like
Hartman unlapping himself, I believe. I think that's
there we
Matt
go.
Hartman,
Okay.
yeah, on 48, pit on 48. Now, Rhea's made a good point. Yeah, we were talking about Ben Harcombe at this point. Yeah, if it's a comfort thing, it might be better for him. Not enough practice on the low line could lead to his race ending. What do you reckon on that? Do you think that's a thing that you have to practice running around the low line, or do you think you can just jump into a race and go, right, I'm going to just do this?
No, you have to practice it. It's two different lines. It's two different. It's equivalent of two different corners on a road course. If you run low line versus high line, and it makes a difference. There's different braking points. There's different pickup points with the throttle. There's different turn-in points. All that plays a bit. Typically, if you're on the high line, you're on the throttle a whole lot earlier than you are on the low line, because you want to carry that speed out of the corner. But at the same time, the cars can react and feel different at different parts of the track. Maybe Ben's running the high line in 3 and 4 because the car feels better to him up there. Maybe the car's got a little more oversteer, a little more loose on the bottom line than it does on the top line. I mean, all that plays a big part of it. So, we saw a lot. I think we did Bristol a few weeks ago. We saw how the drivers were running so high there as Al Corey gets under Sid Kasheshin right there. Look at Sid fighting on the outside. Now watch Sid carry the speed out of the corner. No, he's going to back out and give him the space. But yeah, the Bristol is a different kind of track because that has different banking as you go up the track. It gets steeper, right? So the high line there is a completely different track than the low line. Here on Old Texas, I believe this is one banking all the way to the wall. So it's not a progressive banking structure like you have at other tracks. So it's strictly a momentum, strictly a feel type thing for the driver, and whatever they're comfortable with, whatever they feel safest with. That's what they're going to do, and we're all here to have a good time, so we're not here to be miserable. So do what you want to do, man.
Yeah, enjoy yourself as well. Banking roughly 20 degrees, 1 and 2, 24 on 3 and 4 there. So, not a massive amount, but enough to make a difference. Bentley did clear Perezzini, and Perezzini is now trying to find him back in that 24 liveried machine. The red one right behind us here as well is Bentley, and I think there you can see Perezzini right in the background in that Chevy. They're doing an absolute stellar job trying to chase down Bentley. Is it more chasing down, or do we think it's settling in for this second run? Because with 77 laps here, we're looking at pit stops for both of these. Lap 90 roughly for Perezzini, lap 88 for Bentley, if we're using this whole famous double up and hope for the best kind of situation. Is Perezzini going to be sitting there thinking, well, actually, if I sit here, I could save fuel?
No, you're going. Right now you're going because you're in the last 10 laps of your run. Tires are going to be what tires are going to be. You're going to start seeing the fall-offs. You want to take advantage of that. If you've got better tires in the car ahead of you right now, you overtake the car in front of you, and you go. Because, the first pit stop told us they can make it on fuel if they do the segments correctly like we talked about. I think the pit window opens here in the next 5 or 6 laps. You can make it to the end of the race. We've seen that just by how far they ran the first time. And you look at the cars sliding. These tires are burnt up on both of these cars right now. But yeah, let's keep an eye on how aggressive Matt's going to be here, trying to get that second position. Meanwhile, Gretsch up front has extended his gap. He is pulling away, and he looks like he's having no problem with his tires at the moment. But yeah, you're going for what you can get right now, because this is when the driver gets to earn his pay. This is when the driver gets to show how good he did saving his tires. You don't save your tires just to ride around behind somebody. You save your tires to have them at the end so you can go further and you can make those overtakes.
Yeah, he's coming off. You can see him now out of 2 here as well. We'll watch him for a lap and just see what the difference is between Carl Gretsch here. He's down, and then he kind of just drifts it out a little bit, sticks it up near the wall, doesn't he? And as he comes
look at how little steering he's putting in going into the corner. He is just cruising around in this car. He's going to let off early. He's going to roll into the corner. Just a little bit of turn in right there. Just a little. See, that tape didn't even make it past the gauge right there. Now, if you go watch some of the other drivers, watch how much more aggressive they are turning that wheel into the corner. So this is Dustin Barton running down in P6. A little bit more wheel. Actually, that was very clean from Dustin right there. Very smooth, very clean. And the oval racing is about being smooth, keeping the speed up. I'm curious watching someone like Matt in P2, because we saw how much he was struggling with the car earlier. If he goes into turn 1 right here, it looks like he's getting chased down. So he's going to be running a little harder than everybody else. He's going to turn in here a little bit more. Actually, it wasn't too bad. That was actually very smooth as well. So I take back what I said. A little bit of oversteer on exit right there, but yeah, whoa.
Keep it there, bud. Oh,
man, I think did Matt get did Justin get a little bit of push him a little bit there? I don't know if Matt liked that too much. Matt's coming back on the inside. This was a good race right here, James.
Yeah, Perezzini and Bentley going at it. I don't believe Bentley might have passed. Was there? No, it didn't look like there was.
He went for the block, and he got a little bit of almost a tank slapper situation there on the back straightaway at full throttle. Anyway, pit window is open at this point, so if you're someone like, he's dropping off, is he going to pit this time?
Kishishin has pitted already. Kishishin has pitted here, and Perezzini looks like he's going to kind of bring it in, but no, he's out again.
No, he must have just lost a lot of speed out of turn 2 right there. But if you're losing time, I'd go ahead and pit now. Put a fresh set of tires on. You got 40 laps to the end of the race. You know you can make that. Go ahead and get in now, because if a yellow comes out and everybody else pits, you go to the front.
Yep. And I think that's probably a smart move by Kishishin, pitting that little bit earlier, a little bit of 84, it was 82 he pitted actually, and now Kishishin himself might find himself in a decent position once his second pit stop cycle circles through. Bentley and Perezzini still going at it with Corey Barton, Crutchley, Benson, Harmon, Herzog and Kishishin rounding out your top 10. Ben Harcum's out He's out, I believe, as well. So Ben Harcombe looks like he may have called it a night here. I haven't had anything flag up to tell me that he had any issues, but he did look like he was struggling a little bit in general.
Yeah, he may have just parked the car and called it a night. Yeah, that'll happen too. So, the other thing, honestly, James, and I misspoke earlier when I said, you pit, you go to the front. I was thinking road courses. There goes Perezzuni into the pits. I didn't consider oval racing. The lap time is so short that actually if you pit too early, you could go a lap down and the yellow comes out. Then you're not getting your lap back. Yeah. So there's a reason to stay out as long as you can. So apologies for my mix-up on that. But yeah, it looks like Perezzuni's in, Al Corey's in, Justin Bentley and Kyle Gretsch up front, both continuing to run. Look at Sid on these fresh tires.
Just
running around. Yeah, I mean, you can easily make it to the end from here. So let's see when, Perezzuni's coming in. Looks like Bentley's coming in. So just like we saw before, Perezzuni pitted a couple laps ahead of the leader, and he was not able to get that undercut that we talked about. But Gretsch is staying out here, and if Gretsch continues to stay out, every lap that, Perezzuni runs, he's going to gain, about a second and a half. So, let's see how this plays out. If Perezzuni can keep it out of the wall this time, he might be able to get a good run on him here.
Yeah, I think from Kashishian's point of view, he's got to try and keep ahead of Corey. They've been together for pretty much most of the race anyway. I don't think he's going to catch Perezzuni up front. He should get past Harmon. Harmon is still on his first one. He didn't go in till 48. So technically, if we double that up, it should be 96. Gretsch's another one on 92. If we double up his first one of 46 with Barton as well. Crutchley's still not in, and he was in, and he pitted on lap 44. But Crutchley now is dropping in to go into that pit lane here as well. That should give Kashishian another place. So Kashishian could come out of this quite in an ideal scenario, because Crutch and Harmon have both got to go in. Crutch has now got in as well. Barton and Gretsch have got to go in. So from Kashishian's point of view, he's got to keep banging in them 30s that he's doing at the moment. 30.74 last time around, about a tenth slower than what he did the lap previously. But if Sid Kashishian wants to kind of move himself up here, he's got to kind of keep trying to do what he is doing. Go at it, hit the 30s as much as he possibly can, and see how he filters out after everybody's pit stop.
That's it. He's doing what he's got to do, and he's doing it the right way. I'm surprised the leader hasn't come in yet. We're on working lap number 90 now. You've got 35 laps to the end of the race. Leader and P2, Dustin Barton, neither one of them have come into the pits yet, just as you said, James, and they're both trying to stretch this out. I think at this point, I believe Harmon has I believe Gretsch has a lap on the field, just about. So if a yellow comes out, he's got the entire lap to himself. Dustin Barton's also in the lead lap, I believe right in front of him. Is that Dustin Barton right in front of him there? Yeah, so that's P2 in front of P1. So Gretsch is going to go for the overtake and lap the field. Of course, they both have to pit. So, but still, there it is. So now Gretsch is on a lap of him by himself right here. Yellow comes out. He is looking super good. How far can he stretch it? How's the mileage going? I'd imagine that fuel tank is
fuming,
getting pretty light right now.
Yeah.
So
I think he's going to be
Barton's
fumes.
in.
Yeah, Barton's gone in as well. So that really depends on what Kashishian's going to be able to do here. He's just going to believe he's just gone past Benson. He is going to clear Barton as well. So Kashishian will go back into that fourth spot. Corey's also going to get Barton at the same time. So Corey is also behind Kashishian. Harmon's in the middle, but he's not pitted yet. Gretsch, as you say, has lapped everyone. And we can see that by the left-hand side graphic there as well. Everybody is a lap down at the moment. So Carl Gretsch kind of showing why he's the championship leader currently at the moment.
James, I'm thinking he's staying out too long, though, because everyone else has been on fresh tires now for about 7 or 8 laps. And, again, it's a second and a half, 2 seconds a lap quicker, right? So he may lose the lead, but then, again, in return, he's going to have fresh tires when he comes out to work for the rest of the race. So here he comes, coming into the pits. Let's check the entry here, make sure it's clean, get the car slowed down, go down through the gears, watch the brakes, don't go too hard, don't lock the wheels. Very smooth, very clean race leader into the pits.
Yeah, and there he goes. Where is Perezini right at the moment? Perezini's just coming out of 2, and Carl Gretsch is literally still driving up the pit lane into his box. Pit lane's roughly about 39 seconds, give or take, on a time. It is what Perezini's got to do now. He's got to clear Gretsch and try and put as much distance between him as possible. Gretsch is going to lose that position to Perezini. Bentley is also going to get through as well. What about Kashishian? Can Kashishian make it through? As Carl Gretsch is now on his way out. Sid Kashishian is coming into the entry into 1 here, Chris. I don't think he's quite going to get Gretsch at the moment. I think Gretsch is going to come out, but it's going to be under the cosh, I think, from Kashishian. Kashishian's on full speed. And
well, Gretsch has those.
Out.
He's got those fresh tires too. I think Sid's not going to be able to make a move here. Gretsch is going to have so much speed in that Napa flavored car, so he's going to go. The question is, can he now, in the 30 laps we have left, can he make up about 8.5 seconds to the race leader? I think he can do it. I think he did. I think he may have just waited just long enough. 8.5 seconds. Let's see. That's your goal, Gretsch. That's what you got to do. Let's see it.
Well, we're going to find out whether or not he can. Harmon's into the pits as well here. As Gretsch now just goes past, I believe that is going to be the 13 car of Dustin Barton, who is going to lose that position to, well, he's not in position, he's going to get lapped by Carl Gretsch again, just when Barton thinks he was safe at that point. He's now gone a lap down once more, and it's all about what this man can do in that 27 car. He's brought it down to 7.5 seconds. Last time round, 30.23 for Gretsch, 30.7 for Perezini, so a half a second out already here. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to count out Carl Gretsch, because he is looking mighty quick at this circuit.
He's looking good in all scenarios right now, James. Yellow comes out, he's got fresh tires. You know, if the race runs green, he's got fresh tires. He's looking really good. Now remember, your tires are fast. Oh, diving in under the lap car. That looked kind of sketchy for a moment. I looked like that traffic was going to come down to all the way to the white line. But yeah, I mean, your tires are good, but they're not good forever, right? They're going to plateau. You're going to get into the same speed as everyone else. Probably about 10 laps in, you kind of get to the same speed. So if he's going to make the move, now's the time to do it. You're not really saving the tires for 45 laps anymore. You're saving them for 30. So green light, Gretsch, hit the button. Go, brother.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to look out for as well, and see how that is working out. Gaps down to 6.5 now for Carl Gretsch there in that 27 car at the moment, flying along here as well. Justin Benson is battling it down further down the field with John Crutchley. Now, I did find out some interesting information from John about the Nodge. Now, we know that that's his general nickname within the Triple Bypass Discord, is John the Nodge Crutchley. Now, that originated because at one point in a season within the Triple Bypass, there are quite a few Johns. And basically, John Crutchley is, the Nodge is John backwards. So there we go. That's how it all developed.
I can't unsee it now that you said it. That makes perfect sense. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's John backwards, and that's where it come from. And that's how John Crutchley became the Nodge, because there was too many Johns in the series. So there we go.
Well, the Nodge better be looking in his mirror, because he's about to get run over by Benson here. But I tell you who else needs to look in their mirror. Justin Bentley in P2 has Kyle Gretsch all over his rear bumper as well, as Gretsch continues to make his run to the front. Benson here is going to look around the outside of Nodge, though. He's not going to be able to do it. I mean, at this point, you run what you got, boys. You can't. No more pit stops. No more tires in the tank, or in the what do they call them? Pit stalls.
So, in the tank.
Yeah.
No more tires mixed in with the fuel.
Here goes Gretsch on P2. Yep, Gretsch up to P2 there. So Gretsch is now 4.5 seconds out of the leader, running his way to the front. He's still got life in those tires, making it happen. So getting the job done so far for Kyle Gretsch.
Yeah, he's at 24 to go. Is he got enough in the tank to get Perezini? That's going to be the question for Gretsch. Perezini's on the entrance into 3. Gretsch just coming in that one now. It's going to be close here. This could come down to this last lap shootout, depending on what Perezini's going to be able to do. 31.15 for Perezzini, 30.5 for Gretsch last time out. What did he just do then? He's just done a 30.6. He's just pulled 6 tenths out of Perezzini in front of him.
Yeah, consistently about half a lap quicker. So a little bit of math right there. That puts him about 10 laps out, 9 laps out.
If that,
you get a little bit of action here from I can't tell who that
Matt
is underneath.
Harmon.
Oh, diving on the inside. Matt Harmon on those fresher tires. Matt pitted on lap 94, actually 1 lap after Gretsch. So look at Matt wheeling the car here, showing up the championship leader. 1 lap newer tires, says, I ain't scared of you. I'm a lap down, but I want to race. I want to go. I'm here to go. So he's going to take it. But interesting, Gretsch didn't really fight him too much. They just kind of let him go, but still didn't really lose any time to the race leader.
Would you fight him, though? Would you fight him, you think? 22 to go, you got a speedy Matt Harmon. Would you really worry about fighting him, or just let him go in general?
I generally, when I'm trying to chase down the leader, you're looking at the windshield, not the rear mirror. So I give him props for being aware of that and not fighting that. So maybe he can use that to his advantage and do what we're talking about earlier and get some of that slipstream, get some of that draft around the track and close the gap even more. But so far, it's coming down quick.
Yeah, it definitely is. 2.5 seconds there as well. Ria's in chat once more. Unrubbered fuel, she said, Chris, in reference to putting tyres in the fuel tank. So there we go. And
hey, we need weight in the car. Cross weight's important. It goes a long way. Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, they're definitely not leaded or unleaded. We've got rubbered or unrubbered. So there we go. Harmon is now getting onto the back of Herzog here. I don't think this is going to be long. The way that he passed Carl Gretsch earlier on, I don't think it's going to be long for him to clear Herzog. Probably on the inside going into turn 3. As you see, Herzog is on the outside of us at this moment in time as well, and I think he is just going to go and whiz underneath. He is. The gap up front, well, there's Carl Gretsch, to be fair, actually, as we're talking, and just in front of Matt Harmon is Perezzini, 1.1 seconds. Perezzini's clocked the line at a 31.8. Gretsch clocked it on a 31.18. 7 tenths there. 19 to go. Surely it's got to be in the next lap and a bit. It's taking him 3 laps. 3 laps from when you said 10.
He's doing it. He's doing it. I don't know if maybe can Perezzini maybe be saving his tires a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he's saving it for the run, saving it for the battle, or Gretsch just has the pace. I mean, that it could go either way. But yellow's out.
Oh.
Now this is interesting because remember they only have 3 sets of tires, James. They can't put a fresh set of tires on. So you still kind of got what you got, and I don't think they're going to pit because why would you? You got enough fuel in the tank. You don't have any more tires, unless someone maybe. What happened here? Herzog got loose out of 4, spins it through the grass.
Stop.
Doesn't hit anything.
No. Oh, he does that. I think, being that they've got 3 sets here, Chris, I've got a funny feeling it's the set they're on plus the 3. I don't.
Well, if that's the case, we are in for a fantastic finish in this race, James.
Because I think they're
so let's
all
see if
going
they
to go
dive in.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they don't, to be honest. I think they all should. Obviously, we've got Dustin Barton. We should get the lucky dog, first man down on the lap there. Waiver rounds are also on here as well. So Dustin Barton should get the lucky dog and go round. Gretsch didn't quite get Perezzini, but I think that's going to be happening sooner rather than later. Why they're doing
Let's
this?
see, are they coming in? Yeah, they're coming in. Here we go. So,
Gretsch didn't.
He didn't. So, okay. Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, let's have a quick chat with Matt Perezzini here as well. Well, Matt, can I get a copy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Cautions come out, 16 to go. Carl Gretsch is looking incredibly quick. Can you keep him at bay till the end?
Well, we just came in and got tires and he didn't, so he's the sitting duck.
Is that the general consensus now as well? You are still got tyres remaining in the tank. You can still put them on, and you have just done that, and you are going to run it. But are you going to get him before the end then? Is that what we're saying? Gretsch is going to really struggle on his tyres as he's coming into that 16 to go, and you're going to go past him and take the lead and win the race?
Well, that's the plan. I mean, the one thing about it is the tires over the run seem to have over a 2-second fall off. So tires are absolutely critical. So as long as it stays green after this yellow, will be good. If it gets if we get a yellow, we're going to be in trouble. But I think we'll stay green, and then I think we got a pretty good shot at the win here. Just got to make sure we hold Bentley back.
I'm not going to lie, you've just run 109 laps without a single caution here, Matt. The chances of another caution happening before the end of this race probably are very slim.
Yeah, I would say so. I hope this strategy works out. It's been a good race with Kyle and Justin so far, so hopefully we can finish it out and give you guys a good finish.
Okay, Matt. Well, good luck there, bud, and look forward to seeing how you get on over the last 15 laps here.
And thanks very much. Thanks for doing the broadcast, guys.
No problem. Take care. Well, Matt.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
There were more tires. So yeah, I mean, you just heard it directly from him. I mean, Gretsch didn't come in, and everyone else did. So Perezzuni's right there, back in P2 with a fresh set of tires. Now, to be fair, I think Gretsch, he pitted on lap 93. We're working lap 110, so he's got about almost 20 laps on those tires. That is significant. So I think he's going to be a sitting duck. But, to your point, the chances of a yellow being kind of slim. I'm gonna counter that, James. I'm saying, yellows breed yellows on ovals. Everyone's bunched up together. If a yellow's going to happen, it's going to happen right when we restart here. So let's keep an eye on it and see how it goes.
It's got to go in. Surely Carl Gretsch has got to be. No, neither did.
No, he's committed.
Harmon in front as well. Yeah, Harmon didn't go in either. I think Perezzini's right, here, Chris, as well. I think he's got them tyres on there. Gretsch hasn't. He is going to be what Perezzini, Kashishian and Bentley can do. I wouldn't begrudge Kashishian the win either. He's been up and around the top. Everybody has pitted, apart from Matt Harmon here and Carl Gretsch. This could work out severely bad for Gretsch here as well.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
I don't know why Gretsch didn't pit right there. It seems like, I mean, obviously you're the leader. You don't have the view in front of you to see everyone come in. So you're kind of the guinea pig. But it's going to be really hard for him to hold on to this lead. But I'm sure he's going to defend with all his might. I'm going to keep an eye on Bentley in P3. I think he's got the pace to run up front there with Perezzuni. And let's see.
Well, we are going to be going green very, very shortly. Rhea there, over 100 laps and only one caution. Imagine. Yeah, can you imagine this in officials? We'll be here all day on that one. Not going to lie there. And now this is going to be the restart. What should be effectively the run down to the final flag here as well. Gretsch made the jump. Perezzini's going to have what he said. He has got Bentley behind him. Kashishian running that low line there as well. Bentley cannot go up past Kashishian at the moment. Perezzini, I'm wondering now is just where will Gretsch finish? Bentley's just about to take that inside line away from Sid in that 19 car and he's just about to slip in. I'm wondering how far Gretsch can go down here, and I reckon 6th place is going to be on the agenda.
Here we go. He's already under attack from Perezzuni here in 2nd place. Gretsch is going to go to the inside line. He's going to force him to go around the outside. Look at Perezzuni sticking the nose in there, trying to get him a little loose off the corner. Look at the big run from Bentley in P3 as Perezzuni's getting hung up here by the leader. There he goes into turn 3. Fresh tires. It's going to be easy pickings. Justin Bentley's going to dive under for P2 as looks like Gretsch may lose 2 places here in 1 lap, and I don't think he's done.
No, I think he is done. I don't think it's, as I say, I think it's possibly even Corey's going to go past him. I wouldn't be surprised if Barton goes past him. I said 6th place for Carl Gretsch. I think that's where he's going to be. I think he's going to be absolutely kicking himself here as well. Benson is over a lap down currently at the moment, so that's probably where Gretsch is going to go. I don't think Benson's going to pull 32 seconds in over the next 10 laps. He's got to kind of go some to do that. But Perezzini called it. Gretsch didn't go into the pits. He's a sitting duck, and he absolutely did that straight away. Carl Gretsch, kick yourself, son, because you should have gone in at 109.
There it is. I mean, and look at the gap so far that Matt's pulled out over Justin in P2. He's almost up to over half a second, pulling away. Can he keep the, can he keep it going? I mean, 10 laps into a run is not really long enough to get full wear on the tires. So now you're basically out here turning qualifying laps right now, running these cars as hard as you can. I mean, I think the only thing that may save Gretsch at this point, if we get a yellow and Gretsch is able to go in and put on his last set of tires, look at the run Al Corey's getting here on Sid out of turn 2. He's going to dive up the inside of turn 3, stick it in there. He's there, dive it into turn 3, keep it down low. Gets the move done on Sid. Sid drops back to P4. Al Corey up to P3. Good run for Al here. Started P8, I think, up to P3. Good run for him. As Matt up front, though, is continuing to extend that lead. And then you're seeing Justin slowly pull away from Al here as well, as these two are battling for about a lap here.
Well, they've been battling for about the last 113 laps here, Sid Kashishian and Al Corey. They haven't left each other alone throughout the whole period of this race. We've got Dustin Barton, who's not far back. He's 2 tenths back now. What's Kashishian going to do? Is he going to try and bully him off that inside line? He didn't have to bully him. Corey's giving him the space. Now Kashishian just hangs it on that inside line. Al did the thing there, didn't he? He went up, come down, run out. And he kind of didn't have to put as much input into what Kashishian did just by running that higher entry line. And now it's the other way. Al's out there at the moment, and Kashishian's still trying to get past him. And these guys are...
Sid's going to have a run here. Sid's going to have a run in the turn 1. He's got to get that nose in there. He's got to commit to the line. He keeps kind of, he's backing out a little too early there. He's trying to get the run off the corner now. But yeah, you got to commit to the overtake if you're going to do it. 6 laps to go. You got to dive it in. Maybe that's why he's doing it. Maybe that oversteer, James. That car's just a little loose on these new tires. Don't want to dive it in too hard, but he just lost a ton of room right there. But yeah, maybe it's not done. We try to run him down and get back in there. Turn 1 and 2, we talked about at the top of the show. It's sketchy. It's sketchy on new tires. You want to run that high lane, maybe running the inside lane, just not quite safe enough to do. But if you're going to make a move, you got to make the move now.
Now, we sit back and say Robbins racing, right? From Kashishian's point of view, he probably could have rubbed Al there. If he'd sent in and used Al as his general stopping place, just to give him a run on the way through. I'm not saying go and put him in the wall, because that's just completely wrong. But he could have run in a little bit deeper, couldn't he, Sid? And he could have probably used Corey to his advantage there. And used Corey to almost slow him down.
What you want to do is you want to get Corey to run the line he's not expecting and get him to check up a little bit, especially coming. If you can get Corey to kind of check up the middle of the corner, that gives him a bad spot to be on exit, where he's got to really slow up. And that's when you get the overtake done. But he's going to try to run him back down here. But yeah, it's just, I think he lost his chance when he had it. Look at the oversteer on exit. I think these new tires are just kind of sketchy on coming out of these corners, but. Meanwhile, up front, the Canadian Matt Perezzuni just running away with this, 1.3 seconds away. Looking really good here to finish this race.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying at the moment as well. As you can see here, free to go for Perezzini. What's happening back with Kashishian and Corey? Well, they've been at it for 122 laps, and it ain't going to matter if they're going to have 125 together. Kashishian's going to run that lower line. He's got his nose in front.
He's got him.
He's got to get in now, surely. He's got to have him. Yeah, he's got to go in deep. He's got to commit to that line. He cannot allow Corey to get a spring off that outside line, and
Corey's doing a good job there, holding him to the inside, because he knows how upset that car can get. Nice move there from Sid to get the overtake, but I don't think Corey's done. Corey's going to dive it on the inside of turn 3, stick that nose in there. He's going to back out, try to run that maybe a middle groove, get the run off the corner again. These two might battle all the way to the end here, James.
Yeah, I think it is. It wouldn't be surprised. We did say 125. They have been together for 124 of them 125, and it looks like they're going to be together on that final run as well. Perezzini is out in front. He's coming off the exit of 2 at the moment before he hits that backstretch. We will pick him up as he goes over the line. Don't panic. I'm not going to miss it. Oh, he's in the wall. Kashishian's in the wall. He's just allowed Corey to go underneath him, and here comes Perezzini Perezzini now. He's going to take this finish in here. He's going to take this victory. He did say he was a sitting duck. He has been a sitting duck, and Matt Perezzini goes across the line. What's happening with Corey and Kashishian? Corey does get it. What about Benson and Campbell? Is Benson going to trace him down as they go over the line as well? No, Campbell manages to hang on. Carl Gretsch, 6th place, which is exactly what we said. He made a mistake. He should have got into that pit.
Yeah, a little bit of oversteer there from Sid on exit of turn 2. It's such a tricky corner, and you're running so hard. Back end kicked out just a little bit, touched the wall, and that's all. Look at that little bit of a wiggle right there. He chased it up the track. I don't think he ever lifted, to be fair, James. He just drove that car all the way. Look at the oversteer on entry diving in, too. He was really working that car, trying to get it. What a race for both those drivers. The whole day, honestly. Great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was Perezzini, Bentley, and then Corey got the victory there as well. So a great 1, 2, 3 there, and an incredible race. Absolutely flew by. One caution out of 125 laps. Spit that out and just process that a minute as well. But here are the finishing results. And it is Matt Perezzini, your winner, with Justin Bentley in 2nd, Al Corey in 3rd, Kashishian in 4th, Dustin Benson, Dustin Barton in 5th, Carl Gretsch 6th place, kicking himself. He didn't go in on 109 there either. John Campbell in 7th, Jason Benson 8th, John Crutchley 9th, Matt Harmon 10th, Mark Herzog, and unfortunately for Ben Harcombe, he did not finish the race. So there we go. Well, let's drop some people who I'm going to have a chat with down into the waiting room, and we will have a chat here with all of these wonderful drivers who are absolutely amazing. Where is Benson? It's but Justin Bentley, is he there? I can't actually see him there as well. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll start off with Mr. Al Corey here, coming over the line in 3rd place. He got Kashishian right on the final lap. Kashishian made a mistake, and Al Corey went through to claim that 3rd place. A great run for Mr. Corey. Al, welcome into the booth here, bud. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
I'm not too bad. At one point, I almost could have been mistaken at thinking that you and Sid were together for the whole entire 125 laps.
We did race a lot together tonight. We swapped spots several times, pitted very close together, and it came down to, I guess, one last corner there on the last lap.
Did you think you were going to be able to get Sid? Because Sid made a mistake and he went and run up and hit the wall. Did you think you were going to get him before that mistake?
No, I passed him with about, 5 or 6 to go, and then he passed me with, I think, 2 or 3 to go.
Yep.
And I thought that was it. I'd worn my tire out, and but he made that little bobble, and that was enough.
Yeah, definitely. Was that on the cards at the start, Al? Did you actually sit there and think, do you know what, I can get a podium here?
I thought, I might get at least a top 5, but I'll tell you, I'm usually very focused on tire saving. And after the first run, which was about 43 laps, my right front tire was at 4%, and I've never seen that before.
Wow. That could have been very, very bad for you on that one, but you did survive, Al, and you finished on the podium, so a great job from you. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go here this evening?
Well, I think I'll give a shout out to my wife, Amy, who watches these broadcasts from time to time, and thank you guys, as always, for coming out and covering triple bypass racing.
No worries at all. And welcome, Amy, if you are here. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Al, take care, buddy. Look forward to having a chat with you as the season goes on.
Thanks very much, guys.
Great run.
Right, now, before we interview the leader, I do want a chat with this young gentleman who finished down in 6th place. One Carl Gretsch there as well. Carl, welcome in. How are you, bud?
I am doing good. How are y'all?
I'm all right. Now, I've got to ask, okay? And
Are you confused?
I've got to ask, did you make the mistake by not pitting on the one and only caution we had?
So there is a method to my madness. I don't know if you guys have a scoring pylon up, but You see, I am the last car on the lead lap.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Jason Benson is second in points. If I stay out there, I keep a set of fresh tires in the pits. And an absolute worst case scenario, I lock in that I'm on the lead lap or last car on the lead lap, and he stays one lap down. Best case scenario, caution comes out a couple laps later, like 10 laps later or something. I get fresh tires put on my car, and I have 10 lap fresh tires, and everyone on the lead lap, and he still locked a lap down.
Right. Okay.
I don't buy it. I think you should have pitted.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
I think
that is definitely an angle.
No, Kyle, you had a great run tonight, man. Your car was so fast. You saved your tires. It seemed like better than anybody else. You stretched the runs longer than anybody else. We were really wondering, if you didn't pit, everyone else did. I considered the fact you had a set of tires in your tank, and we were making fun of that. Actually, you had a set of tires in your pit stop, in your pit stall. But that second yellow never came. That second pit stop never came. Are you kicking yourself at this point, or is it just you're obviously in the championship lead. You got a healthy points lead over Jason. Maybe coulda, woulda, shoulda type thing. Or are you good from this race?
I'm good. Calculated risk. Yeah, I mean, and if the race had gone green, I would have been able to probably catch some Matt Parasini there coming before the first caution, but calculated risk. Just you make a bed and you lay in it and you go, all right, well, that's what I did, and I finished ahead of Benson, which is the goal for
the main part of it, isn't it? Really, but
yeah,
overall, you had a great race, Carl. I've got to be honest, it was definitely didn't see anyone. No, hold on. I didn't see past you for the win here because you looked so quick there as well. But look, overall, it should still put you up and cement your place in the championship, Carl. So well done to that one. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, of course, shout out to the league. They always do a great job. And then I have my YouTube channel. It's a Sexy Waltrip. It's the logo that's stamped all over my car. And yeah, I actually tonight was my 100th stream that I've done, so that was interesting.
Congrats, man!
Congrats, well done, buddy, as well. It's a long road on YouTube. Trust me, I can tell you that one. But great job from you here, bud. As we're just watching you lift the 42 car, Jason Benson, up in the air in the pit lane there. So great job, great effort. Well done, Carl. Have a good one, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Okay. And now we're going to have a chat with the man we did have a chat with earlier on lap 109. He did say Carl is a sitting duck. Kyle did come out with a line that Chris did say he doesn't believe him. But Matt Parasini took the victory here as well. Matt, welcome in. How are you again, bud?
I'm great. We got the Gen 4 win in, so now we got to win in all three divisions this season, so I'm happy about that.
Well, you called it earlier on, mate, as well. I'm not going to lie. You did call it he's a sitting duck. He was, he did come out with something there as well, Chris, didn't he? That we kind of just said we don't buy it. You should have pitted. But overall, I think you did an absolutely stellar job. It was great racing all the way through there, Matt, as well. So well done to you, buddy.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good to get the Apex Design Chevy into victory lane tonight. I'm real happy about that. It was a really good race. I don't think I had anything for Kyle on the long run, but short run, I knew if I had a really short run, I could lay down some qualifying laps if I needed to, and that's exactly what I did there in that last 15 laps or whatever it was.
Yeah, you kind
Matt, were you... Sorry, James, I didn't mean to step away. Were you saving the tires there on that second run, or did Kyle just have the speed with those fresh tires and he was just running you down? Or were you saving some tires for the end just in case?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what was going on because the first run I was fighting tight, and then the second long run I was fighting loose at the end of it, which was kind of strange. And then that third run before the caution come out, when Kyle started catching me, I was getting extremely loose, so I could barely even get on the gas without it trying to spin out coming out of the corners. So that's why Kyle was catching me so fast, is because the rear of the car was stepping out so bad.
Yeah, changing track conditions, maybe the track rubbering in, something like that. But who knows, man? You did a great job. You played it well. Your strategy was on point. And you set the precedent for everyone behind you. I think Kyle was the only driver that didn't pit on that last stop. So, great win, brother. Great job, and it was fun to watch. Thanks for putting on a good show.
Thanks you guys for broadcasting, and I'm glad we were able to put on a half decent show for you there at the end.
Yeah, it definitely was, Matt, as well. Thank you so much, Bud, for joining us. And we'll look forward to maybe having a chat with you in a couple of weeks. But you take care for now, Matt, and congratulations on your win again.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. I'm looking forward to our broadcast for the Next Gen Series at Darlington. That's my favorite track, and that race I'm sponsoring. So I'll be coming guns a-blazing in that race.
Well, hopefully we should see a good one, but it is Darlington, so, anything can happen, as we're fully aware there as well. But, Matt, take care, buddy, and look forward to chatting to you soon.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks very much, guys.
Take care.
Yep. See you.
Well, there you go, Chris. Final word from you. We do return for the triple bypass in Texas, I believe, as well. So we are coming back for that one. Great race from these guys. Absolutely stellar job. Do you buy the Carl Gretsch situation, or do you?
I do.
It's a tough one.
I was just giving him a hard time, but I do. I think if he's thinking long game, that's fair. I mean, you're only 6 cars in the lead lap. You're not losing a whole lot of points if you do it that way. So I get it, but at the same time, I think you want to win. Hey, I respect it. I respect the thought, and I respect the managing that we talked about at the top of the show. So, yeah, final thoughts. So, Texas, tough track. You heard from the winner just how much the track was changing conditions as the runs went on. I think that's very fascinating. Just shows how good these drivers are to stay on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. One caution through a whole entire 125 laps, and that is something completely unheard of unless you're, of course, in the Triple Bypass Racing League, and that has been the Slough Racing 125, sponsored by Sid Kashishin, who himself wrapped up a 4th place. Could have had a podium, just unfortunately tapped the wall on the final lap, and that allowed Al Corey to come through there as well. So a big shout out to Sid on that one. But that's going to wrap up tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Rhea as well. Great race. It was a great race. Thank you for coming into chat here and putting your points across. It's been absolutely amazing having you. Well, that's it for now, guys. From myself up here in the booth, I've been James Parfitt along with Chris Hannigan here on the JPB YouTube channel. So for now, guys, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.